Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and today I'm going to talk to you about New Year's resolutions, and more specifically, my personal goals for 2020 and how you can go about improving your 2020 by continuing with your music education. So, New Year's resolutions. It's a touchy subject for many. I'm terrible at New Year's resolutions. Well, I say that actually. I've been relatively good with New Year's resolutions. I made a New Year's resolution years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and I've kept it for 5 solid years. Unfortunately, that New Year's resolution was to not make any more New Year's resolutions, because apparently bettering yourself is for better people. So I've broken that this year, and this year I am going to allow you guys to be my accountability buddies, if you like. I like telling you this because it means that I'm accountable to someone. I have to put in the work to get better. So I'm looking forward to you guys maybe doing some of the same. Please do let me know in that comment section below if there are any musical goals that you're looking to achieve in 2020. It could be, learn a new instrument. Maybe you're looking to pick up the mandolin. Maybe you're looking to pick up the banjo. It could be something more specific to guitar. Maybe you're looking to improve your transcribing or learn to sight read or learn a new style of guitar. Any of these things, absolutely cool. Very interested to know what you've got going on. Let me know in that comment section below. So, my 2020 involves taking drumming more seriously. You heard that right. A guitar channel talking about drums. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to turn this channel into a channel where we teach drums, although we will be doing a lot of drum transcription this month, which of course is something that I've had to do for years anyway. So drums. Why drums? Well, I personally have played drums for several years. I'm not great. I'm passable. I guess my way of describing it is I have a much better understanding of how to play the drums, a much better understanding of how to write for drums, and of course the ability to transcribe drums than I do to physically enact those skills on the instrument. I have a really nice Alesis Crimson kit, as you can see on screen now. I've had this for several years, a few upgrades to it. I've added an additional cymbal. I think I'm going to add an additional tom to it, which you can do. And double kick pedal, of course. who doesn't need a double kick pedal? Upgraded the throne, etc. So nice, relatively nice piece of kit. I mean, of course, it's not a top quality acoustic drum kit, but it's perfectly serviceable. I can plug it into my computer and I can use it to trigger Superior Drummer. So in terms of recording, it absolutely does the trick. And it's got mesh heads on it and everything. So it's not exactly like a real drum, but it certainly has a lot of response similar to a real drum head versus some of those cheaper electronic kits that you'll see that have plastic pads to trigger all of the sounds. Anyway, besides the point. So 2020 is about improving my skill on playing the drums. So the focus of this video is to really help you and guide you through what you should be looking for in terms of education to hopefully not trip up and make some of the mistakes that we often make. And I'm speaking from experience here because earlier I mentioned mandolin and I mentioned banjo. I've tried to learn many instruments over the years, and I always fall at the hurdle of proficiency on my first instrument. The guitar is my first instrument. I'm relatively proficient, let's say that. I'm relatively fluent on the guitar. I can express myself. If I hear musical ideas, I can play them. Now, when I pick up something like a saxophone, I struggle to get a consistent note out of it. And that's an extremely frustrating experience when I can pick up my guitar and, again, freely express myself. So fighting through that is always a struggle. This is why I've always leaned towards learning instruments that are very similar to the guitar, for example, the mandolin or the banjo, or when I tried to learn pedal steel, that was really hard. That was really hard. I still own my pedal steel, and pedal steel is still probably my favorite instrument, but actually playing it, those guys are outrageous human beings to be able to play that instrument as well as they do. So what I'm looking at in terms of learning an instrument like this is focus and method. Method is the key thing. Now, there are lots of ways to try and learn an instrument. We can be self-taught, we can try and learn from books, we can learn from videos, or we can get private instruction. Now, of course, private instruction is always going to be the most expensive way of doing this, and it's also always going to be the best. You will see lots of online instructional sites trying to talk you out of private instruction, and the argument is always cost, right? You get all of these things on our website, and private instruction is expensive, but it's expensive for a reason. It's largely effective, especially if you stick with an established teacher that knows exactly what they're doing. And the reason it's so effective is because a high quality teacher of any instrument can give you real-time feedback on what you are doing. A quality teacher can watch what you're doing and stop you and correct things. A real teacher can correct things in real time, and he can answer questions in real time. If you have a specific question that you need an answer for, you can ask that teacher that. And again, assuming you're with a good teacher, they're going to instantly know the answer. They're going to have traveled down the path that you have traveled, and hopefully they'll still be very familiar with what it was like to go down that path, not just because they've traveled it, but because they also have many, many students that are currently traveling that path. So they see the pitfalls. They know from experience how they've helped other people get through those pitfalls. When you look at online teaching, online websites for learning, there's not that interactivity with the user, and therefore it's never going to be quite as effective as a personal private instructor. So if you are looking to learn, your private instructor is probably your best bet. But ultimately, it's not cost effective, and it's not always necessarily time effective. It's not necessarily, that's not even a word. It's not necessarily easy to commit a certain amount of time to a lesson. I used to study with, I've studied with a lot of people, but I specifically remember studying with my old friend Martin Goulding. We would have 2-hour lessons, and I would travel to his house. I believe he was in Acton at the time, and I was living in Cricklewood. So I had to travel across London to get to him. It would take, the best part of an hour if traffic was good. If traffic was bad, it was taking longer. These lessons were taking up 4/5 hours of my day whenever I was having one. And, that's a huge commitment of time. Being now, obviously, Skype lessons make that a whole lot easier. But being able to click onto a website and access that website at the click of a button whenever you have time, well, that is certainly appealing, and I am on board with that. In fact, with my drumming, I have actually signed up to the website Drumeo. Drumeo is an awesome website run by a bunch of crazy Canadians, and it's... To be honest, I've obviously worked in online instruction, worked with websites and helped them improve their method of doing things. And Drumeo is something that even as guitar teachers, it's something that we hold in high regard because their method of execution is so seamless. It's so well done. There's loads of, and again, I'm not trying to sell Drumeo. This video isn't sponsored by Drumeo in any way. I'm currently going through the Drumeo method, which is, a prescribed learning path to help you learn everything you need from beginner moving all the way up. And I like that. I think having a path is very important. I could point you in the direction of guitar websites where you sign up and then they say, cool, have fun. And it's just like, dropping you in the biggest shop that you've ever visited and said, oh, everything's free. Enjoy yourself. Like, that's not necessarily useful to a student because students, believe it or not, don't always know what they need to learn. And to be fair, there's certain aspects of Drumeo that feel like that. But having that method and then finding things that I'm working on and saying, cool, now I'm going to go and source more material looking at these specific subjects. So I've been working on stamina with my heel down and heel up bass drum technique. And being able to watch a series of videos as part of the method and then go away and look at other instructors' exercises and concepts to practice those two concepts and help develop that control and stamina is awesome. And then I can work those into my practice routine. They also have some great practice tools on the website, and I really like the competitive things that they bring into the equation, like earning experience points for completing lessons, and these all going into your account and building up your level, if you like. That's a very very video gamey way of doing things, but that appeals to a certain group of people. So if you're looking to learn drums, Drumeo is fantastic. What I'm saying is, while private instruction is fantastic, online education is going to be the method that a lot of people are going to have to go for, and that is absolutely fine. So if you are going to do that, make sure that wherever you go, you find some sort of method and make sure there's a community. That's really important. Being able to reach out to other like-minded people that are also in the same boat as you, both learners, but also reach out to more experienced people that can help lift you up. When you try and do these things away from a paid website, if you try and do this on a Facebook group, for example, the problem that you're going to find is because you're not putting any money into it, it's not something you're going to take nearly as seriously as if you paid a few $100s for something. And that also means that you're surrounding yourself with people that also didn't want to pay any money to learn something. So you're going to find a huge mixed bag of levels of dedication, levels of focus, just how seriously people take things. If you spend money on some quality education, you'd be amazed how seriously you take it, trying to get value out of things. And then, of course, beyond that, as I say, you have books. Now, in terms of learning from books, of course, I sell my own books. I have many books available on Amazon. Badoosh, skadoosh. And yeah, oh, I felt the need to do that now. I'll do that at the end of the video, I'm sure. Books are something that I do hold near and dear. I have a massive, massive collection of books. But remember, this is one step removed from online video content, whereby you can't always see the exact motion. It's very difficult to teach picking technique in a book. Now, my new book, which will be out probably very shortly after you've seen this video, the focus of that is teaching you slide guitar licks in the style of 20 of the greatest slide players of all time. It's not necessarily about the exact technique of executing slide guitar ideas. It's about learning specific musical ideas. Teaching picking technique in a book, well, that's real tricky to do. Some guys like Chris Brooks have done a great job of it by using, diagrams, line drawings of hands, and trying to illustrate the change in motion between images. And while I absolutely respect that, no one's going to, like Chris himself, wouldn't pretend that this is a superior way of doing things than video. But books are absolutely a valid method. So if you are looking to learn via books, just make sure you're getting some good books. There are a lot of good books out there, but the problem is it's easier and easier to write books and release books. So you tend to find a lot of crap as well. That's the nature of the beast. And lastly, you've got self-taught. Many people would say, unless you have a private teacher, you are self-taught. You have learnt from videos or books or whatever it happens to be. I would never make that argument. To me, being self-taught is sitting down with an instrument, not really listening to anything and just trying to work out how to play the damn thing. As soon as you listen to someone else play and you copy what they do, well, you're kind of learning what they do. You are learning from them. There's a lot more self-taught teaching in it, if you like, but you're learning from them. As soon as you buy a book and you learn something out of a book, come on, you're not self-taught. You're using, if you buy a Don Mock book, then you are using Don Mock as your teacher. He just isn't responding to any of your questions. So I think that's all I really have to say on the subject of learning online. As I say, there are a lot of great resources out there and there are some not so great resources out there. So let me know in that comment section, as I say, aside from your New Year's resolutions, also what sites you think are great and which ones you think aren't so great. I like asking that actually because often I come across sites that I haven't actually seen before, and I like to see all of these sites because sometimes there are some really good ones out there and it's a shame to miss them if you are unaware. Anyway, that's all I have to say to you guys today. So you are my accountability buddies. I will absolutely be keeping you updated on my progression playing drums. I'm going to go practice some drums now. And I'm looking forward to making 2020 even better than before. Not just a better year for me and for you guys, but in terms of my development as a person. Make 2020 the year you become better at the thing you want to be better at. Finally, I just want to say a huge thank you to my supporters, or some of my supporters over on Patreon. Lots of new names up there. Evidently, people are enjoying all the live streams I'm doing, and I'm enjoying them too. So, as I say, expect some more live streams this month. I will be transcribing a lot of drums. I will be talking about a lot of drums. Fun, 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 right? And as I say, please do head on over to Amazon, search for Levi Clay, and you will find my books there. You might even find a surprise, depending on when you go and look at this. New book out soon. Thank you very much for checking those out and supporting me via that. Oh, and check out my friends VPix. I love Vinny and the guys over at VPix, and he's been a long time supporter of my channel. So love him. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this, you can check me out on Patreon by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe by clicking this button down here, and you will see 2 more of my videos here and here. If you have any questions about learning guitar or anything music related, let me know in that comment section below. I love engaging with you guys, and I'm looking forward to making 2020 a massive year. Much love, and I will see you for another video soon. Laters.